Hello, everyone. It's that time. Yes, it's time to read the Bible. February 17th, we will begin with Leviticus chapter 4, verse 1 to chapter 5, verse 19. And then the Lord gave these further instructions to Moses. Tell the people of Israel that these are the laws concerning anyone who unintentionally breaks any of my commandments. If a priest sins unintentionally, or so brings guilt upon the people, he must offer a young bull without defect as a sin offering to the Lord. He shall bring it to the door of the tabernacle, and shall lay his hand upon the head and kill it there before Jehovah. Then the priest shall take the animal's blood into the tabernacle, and shall dip his finger in the blood, and sprinkle it 7 times before the Lord in front of the veil that bars the way to the Holy of Holies. Then the priest shall put some of the blood on the horns of the incense altar before the Lord in the tabernacle. The remainder of the blood shall be poured out at the base of the altar for burnt offerings. At the entrance of the tabernacle, oh, at the entrance of the tabernacle. So you go back out and put it there. All right, then he shall take all the fat on the entrails specifically, the 2 kidneys and the loin fat on them, and the gallbladder, and shall burn them on the altar of burnt offering, just as the case of the bull or cow sacrificed as a thank offering. Right. But the remainder of the young bull, the skin, meat, eggs, legs, internal organs, and intestines and such, shall be carried to a ceremonial clean place outside the camp, in a place where the ashes are brought from the altar, and burned there on a wood fire. If the entire nation of Israel sins without realizing it, and does something that Jehovah has said not to do, all the people are guilty. When they realize it, they shall offer a young bull for a sin offering. Bringing it to the tabernacle, where the leaders of the nation shall lay their hands upon the animal's heads and kill it before the Lord. Then the priest shall bring its blood into the tabernacle, and shall dip his finger in the blood and sprinkle it 7 times again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then he shall put the blood upon the horns of the altar in the tabernacle before the Lord, and all the remaining blood shall be poured out at the base of the burnt offering altar at the entrance of the tabernacle. All the fat shall be removed and burned upon the altar. He shall follow the same procedure as for the sin offering. In this way, the priest shall make atonement for the nation, and everyone will be forgiven. The priest shall then cart the young bull outside the camp and burn it there, just as though it were a sin offering for an individual. Only this time, it is a sin offering for the entire nation. They better remember that, because they do that a lot, if I recall. Yeah, alright, next. If one of the leaders sins without realizing it, and is guilty of disobeying one of God's laws, as soon as it is called to his attention, he must bring as his sacrifice a male goat without any physical defect. He shall lay his hand upon his head and kill it at the place where the burnt offerings are killed, and present it to the Lord. This is a sin offering. Then the priest shall take some of the blood of this sin offering and place it with his fingers upon the horns of the altar of the burnt offering, and the rest of the blood shall be poured out at the base of the altar. Are you noticing a pattern yet? Guess what's next? The fat shall be burned on the altar, just as if with the fat of the sacrifice of a thank offering. Thus the priest shall make atonement for the leader concerning his sin, and he shall be forgiven. If any one of the common people sins and doesn't realize it, he is guilty. But as soon as he does realize it, he is to bring a sacrifice, a female goat, without defect, to atone for his sin. He shall bring it to the place where the animals for burnt offerings are killed, and then lay his hand upon the head of the sin offering and kill it. And the priest shall take some out of blood with his finger and smear it upon the horns. You need like a cheat sheet, like in your house. Did I sin? Did I know I sinned until I sinned? And then it'd be like, okay, this one needs a bull, male bull. This one needs a goat, female goat this time. And it's like that must have been so tedious. I'm glad we're under the new covenant. All this stuff. I don't mind killing animals to eat, But this seems like a lot. I'm glad we don't have to do this anymore. Anyway, however, if he chooses to bring a lamb as a sin offering, did I skip anything? Let me make sure. Give me just a moment. And bless me, all the thank God from appreciate. That's appreciate make time for man. Yeah, that was all. However, if he chooses to bring a lamb as his sin offering, it must be a female without physical defect. He shall bring it to the place where the burnt offerings are killed and lay his hand upon its head and kill it there as a sin offering. Priest takes some of the blood, the finger, smears on the altar. All the rest of the blood should be part of it. I'm not sure what the difference is between the goat and the lamb in terms of this. If I missed a detail, I guess it's not a big deal for me. Again, because it looks like the same thing. Maybe I missed a detail, but yeah. But still, that's kind of neat. You can substitute a lamb for a goat, I guess. That's convenient if you didn't have goats. All right. That should be used just as in the case of thank offering lamb. The priest shall burn the fat on the altar, as in any other sacrifice made to Jehovah by fire. And the priest shall make atonement for the man, and his sin shall be forgiven. All right, next category. It's legalistic stuff, man. You gotta do it, but man, is it tedious to get through. This is why I'm not a lawyer. I can't deal with this kind of nonsense. I'm like, just throw me in jail if I do something wrong, or I guess I don't know. I couldn't go through all this. All right, anyone refusing to give testimony concerning what he knows about a crime is guilty. So, anyone touching anything ceremonially unclean, such as a dead body of an animal forbidden for food, wild or domesticated, or the dead body of some forbidden insect, is guilty, even though he wasn't aware of touching. So, ignorance of the law is not an excuse in this case. Or if he touches a human discharge of any kind, he becomes guilty as soon as he realizes that he touched it. So don't smear poop on yourself or others. It's sin. It's nasty. It's nasty what it is right there. If anyone makes a rash vow, whether the vow is good or bad, when he realizes what a foolish vow he is taking, he is guilty. So don't make foolish vows. In any of these cases, he shall confess his sin and bring his guilt offering to the Lord. A female lamb, a goat, and the priest shall make atonement for him, and he shall be freed from his sin and need not fulfill the vow. If he is too poor to bring a lamb to the Lord, then he shall bring 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons as his guilt offering. I've heard doves are pretty good. I've never eaten one myself. I've eaten quail. Quail's good. Uh, anyway, I got distracted again. This is hard for me to focus on. I'm trying my best. Um, the priest shall offer as a sin sacrifice whichever bird is handed to him first, breaking its neck. Yeah. But not severing its head from its body. Then he shall sprinkle some of the blood at the side of the altar, and the rest shall be drained out at the base of the altar. This is a sin offering. He shall offer the second bird as a burnt offering, following the customary procedures that have been set forth. I don't remember what the customary procedures. Probably slit its neck or something. I don't know. Priest shall make atonement for him concerning his sin, as he shall be forgiven. If he is too poor to bring turtle doves or young pigeons as his sin offering, then he shall bring 1/10 of a bushel of fine flour. 1/10 of a bushel. I don't remember how big a bushel is, but that's not much. That seems reasonable because it is a sin offering. He shall bring it to the priest, and the priest shall take out a handful as a representative portion and burn it on the altar, just as any other offering to Jehovah made by fire. This shall be his sin offering. In this way, the priest shall make atonement for him for any sin of this kind, and he shall be forgiven. And the rest of the flour shall belong to the priest, just as was the case with the grain offering. And the Lord said to Moses, if anyone sins by unintentionally defiling what is holy, then he shall bring a ram without defect, worth whatever fine you charge against him, as his guilt offering to the Lord. And he shall make restitution for the holy thing he has defiled, or the tithe omitted, by paying for the loss, plus a 20% penalty. He shall bring it to the priest, and the priest shall make atonement for him with the ram of the guilt offering, and he shall be forgiven. Anyone who disobeys some law of God without realizing it is guilty anyway, and must bring a sacrifice of value determined by Moses. This sacrifice shall be a ram without blemish, taken to the priest as a guilt offering with it. The priest shall make atonement for him so that he shall be forgiven, will be forgiven for whatever it is he has done without realizing it. It must be offered as a guilt offering, for he is certainly guilty before the Lord. Goody. If Leviticus is all this, it's gonna be a pain. It's better than the tabernacle, but not much. At least I'm occasionally getting little insights into like things that were considered, unclean or sin that we don't normally think of. Anyway, let's get to the good stuff. Let's get a mock. All right. Let's see. Let's change the voice. What will we do? What will we do? Then Jesus went out to the sea shore again, and preached to the crowds that gathered around him. And he was walking up the beach. He saw Levi, the son of Alphaeus, sitting at his tax collection book. Come with me, Jesus told him. Come be my disciple. And Levi jumped to his feet and went along. That night Levi invited his fellow tax collectors and many other notorious sinners to be his dinner guests, so that they could meet Jesus and his disciples. There were many men of this type among the crowds that followed him. But when some of the Jewish religious leaders saw him eating with these men of ill repute, they said to his disciples, How can he stand it to eat with such scum? When Jesus heard what they were saying, he told them, Sick people need the doctor, not healthy ones. I haven't come to tell good people to repent, but bad ones. John's disciples and the Jewish leaders sometimes fasted, that is, went without food, as part of their religion. One day, some people came to Jesus and asked why his disciples didn't do this too. Jesus replied, Do friends of the bride do friends of the bridegroom refuse to eat at the wedding feast? Should they be sad while he is with them? But someday he will be taken away from them, and then they will mourn. Besides, going without food is part of the old way of doing things. It is like patching an old garment with unshrunk cloth. What happens? The patch pulls away and leaves a hole worse than before. You know better than to put new wine into old wineskins. They would burst. The wine would be spilled out, and the wineskins ruined. New wine needs fresh wineskins. Another time on the Sabbath day, as Jesus and his disciples were walking through the fields, the disciples were breaking off the heads of wheat and eating the grain. I didn't know you could eat grain straight like that. I've only ever seen it made into flour. That's kind of interesting. Some of the Jewish religious leaders said to Jesus, They shouldn't be doing that. It's against our laws to work by harvesting grain on the Sabbath. But Jesus replied, Didn't you ever hear about the time King David and his companions were hungry, and he went into the house of God? Abiathar was high priest then, and they ate the special bread only priests were allowed to eat. That was against the law too. But the Sabbath was made to benefit man, not man to benefit the Sabbath. And I, the Messiah, have authority even to decide what men can do on Sabbath days. That's an important distinction there. Not just the specifics of the Sabbath, but it's important to know this is the case of all of God's laws. When God tells you something, He is doing it for your benefit, not His. He is saying, This is how I want you to do it because this is the best path for you. And if there's an exception, I will tell you when there is an exception because I have the authority, not you. Jesus can say, Okay, I'll make an exception here. I won't make an exception here because the law is meant for good. Good to know. Continuing on. While in Capernaum, Jesus went over to the synagogue again and noticed a man there with a deformed hand. Little baby hand, maybe, I don't know, like in that one scary movie. His little hand. Since it was the Sabbath, Jesus' enemies watched him closely. Would he heal the man's hand? If he did, they planned to arrest him. Jesus asked the man to come and stand in front of the congregation. Then turning to his enemies, he asked, "Is it all right to do kind deeds on Sabbath days? Or is this a day for doing harm? Is it a day to save lives or to destroy them?" But they wouldn't answer him. Looking around at them angrily, for he was deeply disturbed by the indifference to human need, he said to the man, "Reach out your hand." And he did, and instantly his hand was healed. At once the Pharisees went away and met with the Herodians to discuss plans for killing Jesus. On to Psalms. I'm enjoying this accent, so I'll keep doing it. Sin lurks deep in the hearts of wicked, forever urging them on to do evil deeds. They have no fear of God to hold them back. Instead, in their conceit, they think they can hide their evil deeds and not get caught. Everything they say is crooked and deceitful. They are no longer wise and good. They lie awake at night to hatch their evil plots instead of planning how to keep away from wrong. Your steadfast love, O Lord, is as great as all the heavens. Your faithfulness reaches beyond the clouds. Your justice is as solid as God's mountains. Your decisions are as full of wisdom as the oceans are with water. You are concerned for men and animals alike. How precious is your constant love, O Lord God. I expected Lord, and it said God, so it became a weird word. Let me try that again. How precious is your constant love, O God. All humanity takes refuge in the shadow of your wings. You feed them with blessings from your own table and let them drink from your rivers of delight. For you are the fountain of life. Our light is from your light. Pour out your unfailing love on those who know you. Never stop giving your blessings to those who long to do your will. Don't let these proud men trample me. Don't let their wicked hands push me around. Look, they have fallen. They are thrown down and will not rise again. That's a fun accent. I like the Jamaican accent very much. All right, Proverbs for today. Did I say the verse for Psalms? I don't know if I said it. So that was Psalms chapter 36, verses 1 through 12. And finally, we have Proverbs chapter 10, verses 1 and 2. Happy is the man with a level-headed son. Sad the mother of a rebel. Ill-gotten gain brings no lasting happiness. Right living does. Straight to the point. Yeah. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed and got something out of it. We'll get through Leviticus together, and we have Mark and the rest to help, you know, ease the burden. Of course, I don't know. Maybe you're the kind of person that likes all these little details. So, power to you. Either way. So, thank you for listening again, and as always, God bless.